evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're just going to let some people join here. One moment, please, while we get.
Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody is enjoying. If you are in London, I hope you are enjoying the rain. It's been a very, very bad weather. I had to run 20 minutes in the rain, and it was not fun. Okay.
Well, let's hope this webinar goes better than that.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to today's Scrum Pulse. I'm Lindsay Velocina, and I am with Scrum.org. And today we have Lavaneesh Gautam here. And we are going to have a great session today focused on impact mapping. So a very, very cool technique to help us optimize value delivery. So welcome everyone, and let's get started. So next slide, please, Lavaneesh. So we are going to have some time for Q&A in this session, and you can ask questions throughout the session too. So please utilize the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and I will be monitoring those throughout the session. If you have any technical questions, please utilize the chat. But remember, let's try to keep the questions for Lavaneesh separate from the chat. I'll remind you throughout the session with that as well. It's very easy to make that mistake. And then this session will be recorded, and you will get a copy of the recording within 24 hours along with the slides. So don't worry if you miss anything. We will keep you up to date there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So next slide, please. Okay, so just very quickly about Scrum.org. We are the home of Scrum. We were founded by Ken Schwaber back in 2009, and our mission is to help people and teams solve complex problems. So we do that through our professional Scrum training. We have over 350 professional Scrum trainers globally, including Lavaneesh, who we have here today. And we also have, we offer professional Scrum certification to validate your knowledge, as well as lots of ongoing learning opportunities. I highly encourage you to check out our website. There are a lot of free ways to continue your learning. Learning does not stop at the classroom. We always want you to continue learning and growing your knowledge. And I hope today's session plays a part in that. So with that, I will hand it over to Lavaneesh to introduce himself and get us started talking about impact mapping.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar with us. And this is quite close to my heart because in this I'm going to actually talk about that how to bring that missing why within our work. Okay. So a little bit about me. Okay. I'll not bore you with it. So as you know, Lindsay has already kind of briefly introduced me that I am a PST. That means I'm a professional Scrum trainer with the Scrum.org, and you can know about this later on as well. You can scan and find out me on the LinkedIn. You can connect with me and all. Okay? I'll not bore you with this thing. Okay. So first, I would like to start actually with a story. Okay. So once upon a time, and actually it is last year. Yeah. So last year I was working as a product advisory in one of the large bank in the UK. And when I go and work as a product advisory, I always try to talk with the engineers, developers, testers, the people who actually do the work. Yeah. And I was talking to them and asked one question that, guys, can you please tell me what you currently working on? So people, they start giving me certain things like I'm coding this, I'm designing this and all. And a couple of people, they also start giving me certain Jira tickets as well. Oh, I'm working on this Jira ticket or something like it. And I couldn't get that. Okay, what actually they're working on. So I changed the question there. So, and I changed it to, okay, so forget about what we're working on. Tell me what you have worked in the past couple of months or something. Not to my surprise, the typical answers which I got were like, oh, we have delivered these many Jira tickets. We have delivered these many number of features, something, or we have delivered these many story points. So that was the usual response I was getting. And it triggered a thought to me that why? What happened? Since when these people, they have turned into these smart people, they have turned into some kind of ticket burners in itself. Why they are not talking to me? Which user they are helping? How they are helping the businesses to grow as well? Yeah. And so I started running a survey. I'm going to talk about the survey in a moment as well. But I have got something for you guys. Okay. This picture, I found it out on one of the my LinkedIn feed. I don't know who created it. So whoever has created it, you have done an awesome job. And have a quick read and let me know. Has any of you been into situations like this as well, where we are working on the things, but we don't know why? Yeah, something like this person. I have made a robot that screams, awesome feature, but why? Sometimes we fail to answer this why in itself, and somehow this why is missing from our work as well. Now, just to get into a little bit more deep into that, because we love experiments, and remember, data don't judge. Yeah, data. So what I started doing, I started running a survey. I started running a survey at the end of a couple of webinars which I was doing, and conferences, my trainings, my coaching, and the consulting gigs which I was doing. And so far, around 409 people has responded to that. And what I learned is that 2 out of 3 people, they could not connect and cannot connect their daily work with the business value. So still there was a good percentage of number, I would say around 53 or something, which were able to connect their work with the user or the customer. So I can say, good job, those product owners and the product managers, you have done a good job there. But somehow they still could not connect to the value for the business. And I'm going to talk about it, why it actually creates a problem. And this is what I want to talk about. So here is a poll. Lindsay, I would like to know from these people as well that
Yeah, so
what
I'm
do
going to
they
go ahead
think?
and watch the poll. So, all right. So, do you think that your developers can connect their day-to-day work with the value of your company or product? Let's give folks a moment. Fill this out. All right. Looks like most people have filled it out. So I'm going to end the poll and then I'll share the results so everyone could see them. Okay, so 60% said yes and 40% said no.
It's still a
So
big number, isn't it, Lindsay?
yeah.
Yeah. And this is the very big problem to me. I think even this 40% people, guys, we need to do something about this, because I want to show you something. We have already done that. Okay. Because our people, our team members, they are value creators. They are not just the Jira ticket burners. They are not just ADO ticket burners. They are not just story point burners. They are value creators, and we should be able to connect their daily work with that value. And if we fail in that, I think we are not doing some good job, I think. Okay. So a little bit about this. So then I started talking to a few people as well based on the survey, and I was talking to certain leaders and all. And I started unearthing, going into deep into this. And I learned that many people feel, and especially in the management level, that okay, our team members, if you want to keep them happy, okay, and they are very, very passionate about the things where their skills are, like coding, the testing, designing, or analysis, or whatever. They love working in those expertise. But being a developer on my own in my previous life, I know we love solving problems. To solve those problems, we try to use those skills in itself. We are problem solver. We are not just the ticket burners in itself. And when we are handing over these tickets, when we are handing over these ready-made solutions, ready-made features to our team members, somewhere we are killing the joy. Somewhere we are killing the motivation. We are fail we are failing in providing them the purpose. And this is, in a way, killing the innovation and the ideas and the creativity, which I think is a desire. And I shouldn't say even the desire, it's an absolute need in today's complex environment where users' needs are changing, where technology is changing, advent of the artificial intelligence and all, you are seeing the features and the products, the way we develop these features in the product, it's changing massively as well. And we need innovation, because if we don't do, our competitors will take over. Our customers will move to someone else. And this is why I want to talk about is bring that value to those people. They are the value creators, and they can amaze you with their smartness. When we are giving those solutions to them, somewhere, we are killing that smartness somewhere. Okay. Next. So let's start. So now, as our why is clear, okay, that yes, there is a problem in the industry somewhere. Yeah. You in this poll, we got the 40% of people couldn't feel that their team members can't connect their day-to-day work with the business value. And my result is somewhere around the 67% as well, but still a very, very high numbers. Okay. Now, if that why is clear, that problem is clear, let's start thinking about the solutions. And this is where I'm going to talk about one solution which I have found massively helpful in past 5-6 years of my work. Okay, which we call it as impact mapping. The thing which I'm going to talk about is not the original impact mapping created and as defined in the book called impact mapping. It's a little bit modified version which we teach in our professional Scrum product owner advanced class. Yeah. So let's start talking into that. So first, let's understand the value. Okay. So the value is different from the different perspective. Yeah. If you look from the users and the customer perspective, value might be different. If you look from the business and the company perspective, sometimes the value could be different as well. So for an example, you are building a product, okay, that helps your operations team, okay, in doing their job faster. So the value that uh, those users of that product they get is that earlier they were able to do their job in 10 minutes. Now they have received this product or a feature. They now can do that job in 2 minutes or the 3 minutes. It's a measurable, observable change. This is something we are calling it as an outcome here. Outcome from the users and the customer perspective. Now, for a business, what it happens is when these users they are achieving certain kind of outcomes, it helps the business in achieving certain impacts. Okay, for the same organization, for the product, this value could be is the cost reduction. In some places, it could be the increasing the user satisfaction as well. In another places, it could be the revenue. Okay, something that our businesses care about, our shareholder, our stakeholders are care about. You might have seen this as well, that our senior leadership, they are very close to this. Yeah. where our team members sometimes and product owner, product manager, sometimes they are very, very close to this. Okay. If we can't connect this customer value with this business impact, it causes that misalignment among the leadership, management, and our teams. And this misalignment I have seen gets filled by many meetings because it's important to them. They are going to come and ask you how it actually helped us in running the business. So one of the important things which I want to talk about here is that we must be able to connect these two, because if we don't, we are creating a lot of waste in our system in terms of meetings, the reports, lot of rework, lack of prioritization. It leads to lots of waste. So don't just think about the customer outcome only. Also think about how this customer outcome eventually leads to the business value and the business impacts as well. This linkage is very, very important. Yeah. I would also like to give you one definition of the outcome. And I love this definition because it has got the human element in it. So Joshua Sedan, in his book called Outcomes Over Output, he has defined outcomes as the measurable, observable human behavior change. And that human could be a user, the customer, the employee, which eventually leads to the good thing to the business, which are the impacts in itself. Yeah. And why I like this definition a lot? Because of this element. Because people are not resources, they are human in and itself. Yeah. And we must be able to measure what kind of outcome they achieve when their needs are fulfilled. So in the previous example which I was giving, okay, 10 minutes, I delivered a feature, now it is 3 minutes. It's a measurable, observable human behavior change, which eventually going to help us in achieving, reducing the cost maybe, which might be our goal and the impact that we are working for. Okay. How we actually reach to this impact? Okay. Yes, we have got certain ideas. These ideas might be coming from our stakeholders, the market research, while talking to the customers and the users. Yes, we got certain ideas. These ideas, what we do, we put them into the product backlog, and then we start doing our work like the coding, testing, and everything. Yeah. And eventually these activities results into the output. We assume that building more and more things, focusing on those features in the Jira tickets is going to deliver the value. The thing is, just building the thing is not sufficient enough. We have to release it as well, because then only our assumptions, they get validated. Everything before this point is just an investment. There is no return so far. When you release it, then only we actually start getting the value. One of the value for the user outcome and the customer outcome, and then the company impact, the business benefit as well. And this is the feedback loop. You want to reduce that feedback loop in itself. That's what I think the Agile in Scrum is all about. Having that done increment and take that done increment to the users and the customers and learn. Continuous learning, my friends. Yep. Now, I know sometimes people, they say, oh, so you are saying that we should not focus on the output. No, I am not saying that. You cannot get outcomes without the outputs. Remember that. Okay. So yes, we do need to deliver something to get the outcome. Okay. But start here. Start from this position and say, what user outcomes are we looking for? And think. In my experience, I have seen that sometimes it's difficult to connect things directly with the business impact. So very good start is sometimes is here, who the users are, who the customers are, what outcomes you want to deliver, and then how this outcome actually delivers a company impact or the business benefit. Once you have understood this, then think about what outputs you want to deliver. Yeah. And this is the moment when the real innovation happens, when you are giving an opportunity for people to think about. So let me share one more real life story. So I have worked a lot in banks. So in one of the bank where I used to work a couple of years back, uh, what we were building some digital application for them. Okay, and so let's say you are a business. Okay, you go to the bank, say, "Hey mate, I some kind of money. Can you give me a loan?" Okay, so instead of just going into the physical branch, they could ask for those kind of loans digitally itself. That's what we were working toward. Yeah. So as part of this business, yes, we need to know that whether they can actually afford the money which they're asking for or not, whether they can pay us back. Also, whether they have got a good credit history or not. And to get this thing, we need to collect some information from the customers, like what their business name is, what their company registration number is, how many directors they have got, a little bit of how more information, their real company address, and all those kind of things. Now, what used to happen was many users, what they used to do, let's say my company name is Edge Agility Ltd. Okay, they will be entering my company into the database as Edge Agility Ltd, Edge Agility Ltd dot, Edge Agility Limited, and Edge Agility without a dot or limited or something. So we could find out the multiple records of the same company in our database. And the challenge used to happen was when we are sending this data to our credit search engines, which checks whether you should give the loan to this company or not. Those sophisticated system could not find these organizations. So what they would say, company not found, do the manual search. And the manual search is a very costly thing. Somebody needs to physically go check whether this business exists or not, and they have to do their investigation. And it's a lengthy process which impacts customer as well as the bank. And that's the problem that we wanted to focus about, that reducing the number of errors people are making. So that was the outcome, which eventually is going to help us in reducing the operational cost in itself. When we started thinking about this, one of the options somebody gave us was, guys, why not we build a lot of drop downs? We will give the lot of drop downs, and by that people will be making the less mistakes. We thought, oh, awesome, let's start working on it. After thinking about it for next couple of days, what we learned was, oh, even if we deliver this loss of drop down, it's not going to reduce the number of errors massively. So we were doing this brainstorming at that moment, and one of the developer who was actually coming from a third-party system, and the third-party system, you are not the only companies. You are not their only clients. Sometimes there's people working with many different clients as well, and have got lots of ideas. Yeah, and that asking this question, that how we should solve this problem, created an opportunity for this developer to give us an awesome idea. The developer said, guys, why you're not getting this information directly from the source? And we said, ooh, what is the source? Source was the company house. So guys, in the UK, there is a public record of all the limited companies in the UK, which we call it as the company house, which has got a real information about how many directors, the right address, the right name, and everything. That directory is that information is public. And we said, so how we are going to get this information from company house? He simply said that, oh, in the previous bank where I worked, we actually used one API which you can trigger from your system, can go to the company house, collect all this information from the company house because that information is publicly available, yeah, and can fill that form automatically. And we were like, what the hell? And that idea, guys, What it gave us? We stopped working on that drop down, and then we started working towards that one API, and which was quite easy to build as well. Okay, because the lots of work was already done on it. We had some experience already in the team. So in that sprint, instead of thinking about those drop down, we work on that API and we delivered it. And that enhanced our actually the customer outcome as well. Number of errors reduced massively. Also, the the amount of time which was taken to fill that form got reduced massively as well. So actually our customer outcome enhanced a lot, which we initially even thought of. And that one little change was saving the bank £1 million every year. So guys, start here. Maybe it might be helpful. Yes, you cannot get outcome without delivering this output, but there may be many options here, and that's the opportunity you want to give to your people. Without that, we are turning them into the feature factories in itself. Okay, so impact mapping, how it helps in that as well is it connects these outcomes and the impacts. So how do you start? So this is the modified impact mapping that we teach in our PSPOA class. Okay, so how you define? You start first with the goal. What's the overarching goal that we're trying to achieve? Yep. And then you think about what are the different ways this goal can be delivered as well. Okay, maybe in this particular example, the case study that we use in this class is that there is a there's a newspaper in the company which wants to go digital. So for them, yeah, they want to increase the revenue by 20%. Okay, how we can increase the revenue? Maybe by attracting new customer, but at the same time reducing the churn rate as well. This blue circles, these are the why of the business. Then we start thinking about the why of the customer as well. Okay, this is where you can use tools like personas as well. Maybe you can also use tools like jobs to be done, JPPT as well. Okay, and then think about that when these needs are fulfilled for these users, what outcomes they will get in itself. Maybe somebody might be looking for the less hassle. Somebody might be looking for less cost. Somebody might be looking for, okay, when I go into the metro, when there is no need of, when there is no network, I can still read the newspaper in itself. Okay. But the outcome, what they are looking for is so that I can work, so that I can read the things even in the metro. And then you start thinking about the features. And if you'll see, when we read the things from the left to right, each of this combination creates a very good story. We think our revenue of 20% can get increased if person like Kate start receiving a less hassle using features like personalized search. This will help us in attracting more and more people like Kate in itself. And in this place, you are connecting this why with the what, with the why of the customers and the users, and the why of the businesses as well. And this is why I love this technique in itself. And we must be able to connect that. If you can't connect these two things, we should ask ourselves a serious question. And again, it's not about blaming. It's just about, guys, figure it out. Okay. So I'm going to show you the couple of some real life examples as well here. Okay. So first example is, let's say here. So this is something, last year I was working with one educational technology company as a product advisory. And so what we build, we are building a learning management software system, which allows the freelancers, especially, to create e-learning courses. Yeah. The challenge that we were facing was that we were able to recruit people to create the e-learning courses, but they were leaving us very quickly as well. Okay, so initially our goal was grow the revenue by the 20%. How we can do that? There are options. Remember, in the complex environment, there are always options. Okay, there are less certainty. Okay? So maybe what we can do is somebody gave us an idea, reduce the creators or the or educators onboarding time. Or maybe what we can do is we can focus on the people who we already have and give them the better experience. This tick mark which you see here is just our prioritization. What we did was, instead of thinking about this, we focused on this because we saw that even having more and more educators on the platform might not be helpful if we cannot give them the service what they're looking for, because they will then leave after 3 months. So our prioritization level 1 happened, focus on this, improving the retention and the customer satisfaction. Okay. Now our why of the business is clear. Then comes the why of the customer. So we have got different kind of users of that product. One is the people who are actually creating the e-learning course, and the people who are consuming those e-learning courses as well. And we focused on this because these are the people who are actually giving us the revenue. If we can satisfy them, probably these can also get satisfied as well. Okay. What we did? Prioritization level 2. Again, who are your key target customer at the moment? Okay, not after 3 months or 6 months, at the moment in itself. Okay, so at each stage, our prioritization was getting clearer and clearer. Okay, so educators, okay, what do they want? Okay, they probably might be looking for, yeah, less hassle in marketing my courses. So when I create courses, I do not want to get stuck into so many things. I want to market to as many people as possible. Okay, and I also want to retain my engage and retain my existing learners in itself. Yeah, so this tick mark is at the wrong place, so this is where we actually focused on. Yeah, so what we focused first on was that, okay, how we can help the people in the marketing their own courses in itself, because if they can do that, they can actually get more and more learners in itself. And then we started thinking about what could be the features that we could build. Coupon feature, okay, so that they can create the coupon and share with their prospective students. Another was the geographical based pricing. Let's say if I'm in the UK, the course price is the $100, but if I go to another country, okay, where the GDP per capita is a little bit less, it goes down to maybe $50. Okay, so it's affordable, it is changing. So it was a really great idea, but we didn't know whether we should build it or not, because there was not enough evidence and there was a high risk in that. What we did, we started testing this particular feature, but at the same time, we also started building the low risk, high value items. Remember, not everything needs to be built to the production, not everything needs to be experimented as well. And probably at this level, what we would like to do is do that risk and the value analysis. If there are things which are low risk, high value, just build it and measure. Okay. In the past 3 months, since this feature has gone into the production, what is the feature usage look like? What does the customer usage look like? Okay. But if there is a high risk, and that risk could be that amount of time it takes to build, or how much uncertainty you have got in terms of that technology in itself. Okay. If that risk increases, probably you would like to test as well. And this is where what we did, we started doing a lot of surveys. Once we got some thumbs up from those surveys, we got some good results. What we then did was we started doing some kind of digital prototype. We actually built some uh, Figma prototypes, which was a clickable. We went to some real users and asked them, guys, this is how the journey look like. What do you think about it? Okay. We actually tested with certain students as well. Once we got those digital prototyping done, then we actually did the beta testing with our 50 top creators who were ready to become the part of it, who could test out this feature with their existing, with their new and the prospective customers as well. And that helped us in understanding this thing. By the time thing went into the production, we learned a lot. We actually took out few features which we thought we are going to be the part of it. We didn't build it, but we only built a certain part of it in itself. And this actually reduced our risk of building something that nobody wants. Our products sometimes are filled with these things. We are building the so too much things nowadays. Some of those, and I shouldn't say some of those, many of those, they are not even used by many of the people. Don't build it. This increases the technical debt as well. Yep. So this is where we are doing the prioritization each level, at this level, at this level, at this level, and also at this level as well. And that's really, really helpful for us. Now, they are not just building a coupon feature, they're actually helping their educators in doing the marketing much better, which eventually may increase the customer satisfaction, which eventually may help us in increasing the revenue. And I think this tool does this job really, really well in bringing that missing why for the customers, for the users, and more importantly, it connects that as well. Okay. So here, another great thing that you would see is if you have done the impact mapping, you can turn these into awesome product backlog items. So instead of just simply saying, as a user, I want to create coupon code, what you can turn them into as a Carlos, the creator, the educator, not the creator, the god, okay, as a Carlos, the educator, okay, I want ability to create coupons so that I can have less hassle while promoting my courses to my prospective students. You are talking about the why of the customer so far. You are connecting the why of the customer to the what as well. And then you can also, in the end, connect this with, we believe this will help our company in providing enhanced customer satisfaction to our educators and eventually retain them. You can bring life to your Jira tickets. You can bring life to your features as well. Now, they are not just talking about a number, they can talk about the language of users, customers, value to the business, value to the customers. Then you are not just talking about these business value, customer value once in a 3 months. You're probably talking about this business value and the customer value every single day. And I think this brings the purpose. This brings the alignment in itself. So, few benefits as we see when we start building this as well. So the first is strategic alignment. So when we started doing impact mapping, we can see that we have a goal from the company level, how that is broken down into the impacts, how then it connects with the different users, how it is connect then with the outcomes for the users as well. And then the what. This strategic alignment helps a lot. We can start connecting that big why to the smaller whys as well. And then to the whats as well. We can talk the language of our leaders and the managers. In most places, what I have seen is that this alignment is missing. Leaders are talking the different language, teams are talking the different language, and it is causing a lot of problem. And when our leaders and the managers, when they can't see the value in the work, then they start asking for things like, oh, we need productivity, we need resource utilization, we need these many of the Jira tickets. And I don't think it is their fault in that. They are doing it, probably we are not talking about those things with them. This is nobody's fault. I don't want to blame anybody. And I think we need to take this collective accountability of bringing that alignment, how these small things are connected with that big things in itself. And when this strategic alignment happens, it brings that stakeholder alignment as well. Yeah. It gives you power to say no sometimes to the stakeholders. Sometimes when stakeholders can see the value in it, you can talk about the language of goals, the customers and the users. If you can't talk about that language, then everything becomes important. Everything becomes emergency. And then suddenly what we'll see is we are working on the 10 things at the same time. Our work in progress increases as well. And with the work in progress increases, what happened? We start making more and more mistakes. Our productivity go down as well. And then we say sometimes agile is dead. I think what we want is tools like these, which can bring why within our work, which can actually help us in bringing the strategic alignment, the stakeholder alignment. Because then when this happens, it start giving us improved prioritization, something which I was talking about earlier as well. We could see that, okay, when we have got multiple options, which option you want to work on, this or this, go ahead with this. It helps us. And it actually helps us in creation of the goals as well. Goals which are outcome oriented, goals which are impact oriented, not just the output oriented in and itself. And for any product people, if we have got in the room, guys, you will find it a lot of benefit, because this is the place where we struggle a lot, prioritization. And this tool has helped me massively in that, because now I could prioritize the outcomes, and my stakeholder could help me in priority as well. Earlier, when I could not show them the value of the work, could not connect with that, it was getting difficult for me. And this enhanced prioritization that drives the improved communication and the collaboration among the team members, because now they are solving a problem. They are not just working on a Jira ticket. They can think about the multiple options. They can think about what are the different ways we can achieve this impact, we can achieve this outcome. Their language changes. And that enhanced collaboration, what it leads to is it leads to this adaptive and the flexible planning. We tried this, we did an experiment, it failed. Now let's look for something else. What are the other options? We did the user interview with the 5 people. Okay, none of the users said they want something like this. None of the user actually has got that need. Yeah, we stop chasing the numbers only. We start talking about the value, and that is what adaptive and the flexible planning started happening as well. So there are many other benefits as well. So I thought that, okay, at least top 5, which I have experienced that what benefit it brings as well. And this, I'm open for the questions as well. And also, if anybody wants to learn more about such thing as well, you can always join my newsletter as well. But yeah, Lindsay.
Yeah, let's jump into
Questions.
questions. That was great. Thank you. I hope our audience here got a lot out of that. We do have quite a few questions that are coming in. So this first question here from James. I am supporting a team that is struggling with technical debt. Everyone is aware that this needs to be managed, but there is a struggle with competing priorities in a fast-growing team. Can you advise on using impact mapping for prioritizing technical debt?
Ooh, very good one, James. Very good. So first, is there a business value in fixing the technical debt? I think it is. Because when we don't fix the technical debt, we start becoming slower and slower. So here I'm going to share one real life example as well, James. So in one of the place where I used to work, yes, we were facing that technical debt. And whenever we were talking about this, that, oh guys, we got the technical debt, it's impacting us and all, I only got the false promises, to be honest. Oh yeah, we will look into it, but guys, our budgets are tight. We can't. So what I started doing, I started thinking about how I can actually connect this with the business value in itself. And the business value, how I learned in that was that because of we used to face not only the time related issues, because things forget our cycle time was increasing, there was an evidence behind it. And another thing was that every sprint we were pretty much losing one day because of the environment failures. Yeah. So what I did, I went to the HR and asked them, hello HR, can you please tell me what is the average cost per employee in this organization? They gave me a number. Let's say it's a 300 pounds something. And for the ease in let's say calculation, let's say my team has 10 people. Okay. So every sprint we were losing 3,000 pounds because of the technical debt. But hold on a second. I was not the only team that was impacted by it. Again, easy calculation. Let's say there are 10 other teams impacted by that as well. 30,000 pounds every 2 weeks we were losing because of that. If I take it per quarter, 30 multiplied by 6. So if we have got people who have got really good mathematics, it's reach out to 180,000 pounds. And that's where I was able to get their attention now. Because earlier they could not see that. So maybe think about this, how it impacts the business as well. You can sometimes measure this also in terms of the cycle time. So if you start having the technical debt, you will be having some your cycle time. Cycle time is one of the flow metrics, guys. So which talks about when you start working on something, when you finish working on something. Okay. If you have got technical debt, what you will start seeing is your cycle time will start increasing. And if you have got that evidence with you, use that evidence. Because if you are just bringing the emotions in the front of the leaders and managers, sometimes emotion don't work. Yeah. But nobody, and I can say, no, I shouldn't use the word nobody, but most of the people, they cannot confront the data, bring that data. Okay. That may be helpful.
Great, thank you. All right, another question here from Matthew. A problem I find too often is while team members want to know why it's not what is incenting them, because there are KPIs, OKRs, and other metrics that they and their management are measured by, for example, outputs over outcomes. How have you addressed this type of situation? And I'll drop that into the chat for folks too, because it's a little bit of a long question.
I think this is a very typical question we get as well. So Matthew, right? So what we are dealing with here is we are dealing with a massive systemic problem in itself. Our leaders and managers, they are also measured upon the number of outputs in itself. And what's happening is it's keep on passing on to the next person as well. And I think this is what the strategic alignment is all about as well. Probably those leaders and managers, they also need to think about as well that just creating the number of features is not helpful. They need to be courageous and start finding out that why as well. And sometimes they are ignorant. There are tools that can help in understanding that why. Maybe impact mapping. You can also use something like evidence-based management framework, which I have seen quite helpful, especially in helping the leaders and the managers understanding that number of Jira ticket doesn't deliver the value, my friends. What is the current value? What is the unrealized value? EBM framework helped me a lot, especially the leaders in understanding what could be the business value, what could be the customer value in itself. Yeah. So I think we need to be courageous in this, help those leaders and managers in understanding that they need to start asking for the right thing as well. So the same way I think the unclarity is passing on to the a level below, I think we can keep bringing that accountability and the clarity level up as well. Ask the question. Maybe they will ask another person. I think this is how probably we can change our culture. The thing is, our team members that do not want to go into it because they do not feel psychological safe. There is a lack of trust in that. They don't know if they say, "Give me the why." Yeah, they don't know how someone may take it like that. So we do need to change the culture, but again, it takes time. So one step at a time, asking the questions, help them rather than blame anybody as well. I think that's the approach I definitely would take.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, this question from Laura. What part of the impact mapping method should be done with the whole dev team? What part should come as input from management, like the company product owner?
Okay, good. Very good question, Laura. So again, it's all about the collaboration, to be honest. Okay, so you might have seen that impact mapping starts with a goal. And if you're talking about just the Scrum team where the developers, product owner, they are part of, they can actually use the impact mapping for the sprint goals as well. What does our goal look like? Okay, then think about what is that goal, what could be the possible impact we are looking from this sprint goal as well, who could be the user. So you can actually do the impact mapping at various level. You can do it for very granular level with the team as well, but then you can start connecting with the larger portfolio and the very massive product level as well. I think if the bigger the company is, the the challenge in the misalignment would be a little bit more. I think at you can do it at all level, to be honest. So if I say developer, they should be the part of identifying the customers and the users as well. That's why what we want is the continuous discovery and the continuous delivery. If we have got a place where there is another separate UX department that does all the design and pass over the design to the another dev team, we already have got a big gap because there is only few people who know about the customers and the users. What we want is the continuous discovery, continuous delivery, which would be helping. So it's more about the collaboration, I think. I would definitely hold product owner and whoever the person looking after that product to bring that clarity. They must be able to tell us why we are working on this, what value it brings to the business, what value it brings to the users and the customers. And they should not do it in the silo. They should work with the developers, they should work with the stakeholders. Maybe the stakeholders can help us in the left hand side of impact mapping a lot, but I would still be passing on that clarity to the rest of the team as well. So actually developers can come through all as well.
Great, thank you. Hope that helps. I think we have time for one more question. This question comes from Fortune. How does Lavaneesh handle those times when the team, Scrum Master, or product owner asks leadership, marketing, sales, finance, etc., what the estimated or expected value is, and the business just doesn't know? I've run into this situation several times. Should we start by suggesting evidence-based management metrics, or they mentioned the pirate metrics, which I'm not sure what those are.
Yeah, pirate metrics. If people don't know what pirate metrics are used a lot in digital world, where we talk about acquisition as well, and R. So actually, it's an acronym of AARRR: acquisition, activation.
Got it. Okay.
That one. Retention, revenue, referral. So yeah, that those are the pirate metrics. So again, and I think that's a challenge, isn't it? That if they cannot connect this with the business value, and again, guys, one thing remember: business value is not always in the monetary term as well. Business value could also be in terms of the risk reduction. There are certain products where if you don't do these things, the regulators will give you the fine. So you are avoiding the risk. There are certain products that help in the reducing the cost. Okay, there are products that help in increasing the customer satisfaction. And to be honest, all those things are very assumptions in itself, and it's very difficult to give a number to it. So it may happen that when you start working towards it, things are a little bit qualitative in itself. And that's what we want to do is you want to keep releasing the things and gather the data and start putting these value assumptions and validating it and maybe turning into some kind of quantitative measures as well. Yeah. But I think EBM can be really, really helpful for them to understand, because in the EBM, we have got that current value. How do you know your stakeholders are going to be happy? What we should measure. How do you know whether our customers are happy? What we should measure. How do you know even our employees are happy? Okay, how we should measure. So current value looks after all those three parts. And I think when you have this conversation with the leaders and the managers, sometimes they have got answer, sometimes they don't. And that's a thought-provoking state where probably they go and start finding out the answers. And in this way, you are actually helping them. I think,
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah.
Good answer there. So, all right. So we are coming up on our time. There are a number of questions here we did not get to. Some of them, you all really brought it with the complex questions, and I definitely want to share these with Lavaneesh post session, and I will definitely share those, and we will figure out a way to address them, whether it's directly or in a blog post or in some way, shape, or form. We will figure out a way to address your questions. And
Yes.
thank you all so much for bringing those. And with that, we are going to go ahead and close. So, like you mentioned before, Lavaneesh, you do have your newsletter. How else can people connect with you?
So people can easily find me on LinkedIn. There are not many people with my name. Yeah. And also there is a QR code in this slide deck as well, Lindsay. So when you see the recording or when we are going to share these with the all of you, you can just scan that code and connect with me and ask the question to me on the LinkedIn as well, guys. And also my website, which is www.edgeagility.com. You can throw questions there as well. So yeah, there are many ways you can reach out to me, and I would really, really love to help.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lavaneesh. And please stay connected with Scrum.org through our social media channels and our blog. We do run Scrum Pulse sessions like this a few times a month, as well as an Ask a PST session, which is typically monthly. So please be sure to check those out as well. And thank you all for attending and for all the great questions and participation. And
Lindsay, I have got one offer for the people.
Okay.
So I have built one e-learn one Scrum infographics. I think people, what they can do is they can get those Scrum infographics as well. So maybe I have got that link. Maybe I can share with you later on, which you can share with the people.
Yeah, why don't you share that link with me, and I will include it in the thank you email that we will send out with the recording.
Yes. So guys, you will have something. So where I have explained each and every Scrum event, accountabilities, and all with certain tips as well. So maybe it may help you or maybe someone else as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and Scrum on.